So this morning, I was getting ready to go to work, noticed some water on the downstairs bathroom floor. At first I thought it was dog water that they had spilled, or the dog water thing has been leaking. That didn't appear to be the case, so I thought maybe our sewer line's clogged. It's been getting clogged more and more frequently, and I was actually planning to rent a drain cleaning machine soon and clean it, because I suspect, based on these trees and our sewer line being down there by the street where it connects, and it's probably full of roots. Well, sooner came this morning. I figured I would clear it out before I went to work, just so I didn't have to deal with it when I got home, plus in case any kids were home and shower, etc. So I let the water bleed out. It was backed up in the clean out. Used the Drain King like I've normally been doing, or bladder. Put it in the hole, turned the hose on, and the end of it blew off and it fell down in the clean out. And of course there was a large geyser of water that came shooting out and kind of soaked me with toilet water. That's when my day changed, and I decided I wasn't going to work. I needed to fix this. Well, since that piece was broken off in the clean out, I didn't want it to go further down the sewer line, because then we'd be digging up the yard trying to find that thing. One of my earlier videos, I'd installed the clean out, which got a lot of flack because it was the wrong fitting, etc. Didn't do it right. So anyway, pulled that out, let the water drain down, and fortunately I got the piece back. The line is still clogged. I'm not going to show you in the hole because it's pretty gross, but I went and rented a sewer machine, which ironically was one of my first jobs in high school. So we're going to change bits on here and get this cleaned out. Great. Maybe I won't be changing cutters. Obviously you want that tight. You don't want to lose any tools down the hole. The pipe goes down that way, so I'm going to do a 180 with the cable, and these things have a pneumatic foot switch that starts and stops it. So, going to get it started in the pipe. You want to be careful. You don't want to let this cable get twisted, because it'll pinch the shit out of your hand. Usually you can feel some resistance when you get to something you're cutting. So far, nothing. Now that could be some roots right there, or that could be a corner, an elbow, or some sort of transition. All right, whatever it was, it just cut through it. I suspect that's where my roots are. I'm going to turn the hose on and let that wash it down. We'll go a little further just to clear the line. Can't hurt. I'm hearing all kinds of gurgling in there, so I suspect it's clearing some more. It's probably opened up all the way now. Now that the nastiness is cleaned out of there, that's essentially what I was doing. So let that run a minute and then I'll run this back out. All right, now just probably a good idea to have safety glasses on when you come back out of the hole, because it's going to be slinging water off. You don't want to get log water in your face or in your eyes. You just run it, shove it back in the drum. And looks like roots, or it could be hair, but you sometimes get some surprises back on the end of your bit. One word of warning: if you are on a septic system and you have this problem and you run a machine like this, you want to keep an eye on how far you are to your septic tank, because if you let this get in your septic tank, there's not necessarily anything to keep it straight. It can knot up on itself and you won't be able to get it back out. Ask me how I know. So one of the first videos I ever made was installing a sewer line clean out. I believe it was maybe the second one I made. And I've taken a lot of flack for apparently everything I did there was wrong. So since I had to pull this all apart to get this damn thing out of there, figured I'd take the time to address those concerns everybody had. So I was able to find a genuine two-way clean out, so the snake can go in either way. So go ahead and put that in. And incidentally, this thing is $2 cheaper at Lowe's than it is at Home Depot. So anyway, got that, and I got some new no-hub bands, some shorter ones also that have the metal protection. People call me out because that'll help keep roots out. So I've cut these pieces so I can make this as short as possible. I've scuffed up the inside of this fitting. I will apply primer to the entire inside. I have scuffed this up, and I will apply primer to the entire piece that's going to be glued. People were very upset about that. I will apply glue to the entire surface of both pieces. push it all the way in. I like to turn it a little bit and then hold it, because I guess the capillary action, surface tension, whatever, can cause this to push out. So hold it for 15-20 seconds until you can't turn it anymore. If you can't turn it, more than likely it's not going to go anywhere. So if you watch my first video on this, the water line was buried right next to the sewer line. I couldn't see it, and I cut right through it. It is copper on this end up here. I hate when people do that. This end's copper. Down here was PVC, so I had to get a piece of PEX and the appropriate fittings to transition between the two, because the valve at the street wouldn't shut off. I wouldn't have been able to solder it. So I utilized these fittings. I was also trying to get water back onto the house and a functioning sewer, and apparently people lose their mind when you bury these too. So I found underground wrap, protects brass fittings when buried. It's a shark bite product, so I'm going to go ahead and cover them up while I'm in here. I'm going to go pre-cut a couple pieces. So according to the instructions, you just cut it and wrap around. I got it as clean and dry as I could get it. This stuff pretty much sticks to itself. This fitting's a little longer, so I'm going to have to cut a little more pipe to get this thing to fit. Let me dismiss this telemarketer. So I cut back enough pipe on this end of the cast iron using the grinder, which appears to be the only way you can cut cast iron. I have this piece prepared to go in, and I've slid the no-hub bands as far on as I can get them. I think it'll fit now. Alright, yes it does. So now I need to go ahead and work the rubber portion up around onto each end, and you're pretty much going to see the back of my head that entire time. So we'll bring you back when it's done. I went and got this piece of 2x4 to lay across the hole so I could support myself and get this back one on. I'm gonna go run some water. Okay, so I have the kitchen sink running. Let's hope it makes it here. Oh, there we go. I believe some stuff was backed up in there a little bit. I'm gonna go flush the downstairs toilet. Yeah, I believe some more solids was backed up in there. Were backed up in there. So everything tested out okay there. I don't believe I did anything wrong with this portion. And I was gonna get a coupling and just put a short piece of pipe and couple and reuse the lid, but I'm gonna go cut it off right above this hub and it'll just be a little lower. I cut that out of that other piece. There we go. Hope we're not in there anytime soon again. Put this sand back in case I have to go back in there again. That made digging that up a little easier. I'm hoping that'll be my last trip into this hole for a long, long time. I just happened to have a bag of mulch, so it looks like nothing ever happened. Replanted the plants. Anyway, and of course, it wouldn't be one of my videos without somebody mowing their lawn in the background, even though it's a Thursday. I also put this thing out here today. We got to use in our backyard pavilion where we get eaten up with mosquitoes. Put this out here because I figured I'd get eaten up, and it seems to actually do a pretty good job. So to recap, my sewer line was clogged up this morning. This damn thing came apart in the clean out and got stuck in there. So I had to take it all apart, dig up the clean out. Thank God it was right there. Went and rented a sewer cleaning machine, ran the line, and since everybody is really anti the way I did things on my first sewer line clean out video, I reinstalled the correct fittings and did everything according to all the comments. So I'm sure there's something else I've done wrong there, but anyway, it's installed and we have a functioning sewer again. If you would have called Roto-Rooter out for this job, I bet you would have been in $400 or $500. At least that's every time I call them to my plant. It's usually about $800 for a domestic type sewer situation. I had about $60 in renting the sewer machine and about $60 in the parts, the clean out piece alone. That two-way clean out was like $20. So anyway, thanks for watching and subscribing. We'll see you soon. So there's a little refill in there. That's USB chargeable. And if you see a little smoke coming out, it doesn't smell like anything, but it seemed to do the trick on the mosquitoes. And if you haven't watched any of our backyard pavilion videos, I believe there's 5 of them. They've gotten a lot of views lately. They didn't at first, but I think the pandemic has people building stuff. I'll put a link. Maybe I'll make a playlist too, if I can figure out how to do that. See ya.